Welcome, everybody, to Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul. I'm Adam Freeman, live from Atlanta, Georgia. Brees is in Brentwood, Tennessee. We encourage everybody to listen to us on iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcasts, as well as check out our Zoom meetings on our YouTube channel, Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul. What's going on, Paul? I understand that you acquired some new technology today.
Man, oh man. Why is it always the things that are the most important are the hardest things to get replaced? You know, when Comcast, our cable provider, somehow goes out, or they jack up the bill, or you try to get through some customer service, it never fails that you're wasting 8 hours of the day.
Yeah, that's for us. It was before we dumped them. It was AT&T and DirecTV together. It was a guaranteed minimum 2-hour phone call, and so they were so screwed up that we had AT&T internet and we had DirecTV. Well, they are one. Okay, DirecTV is under the AT&T umbrella, but they couldn't get. They sent us two bills, so we kept calling them. Hey, can you not consolidate this into one bill? Because what was happening was, we would pay the internet bill and they would apply it to the DirecTV bill. And then we get we pay the DirecTV bill and they apply it to our internet. And then we get an email that said, hey, your DirecTV is overdue. Your service will be cut off if it's not received by X date. And I was like, I made that phone call like 3 times. And finally, the 4th time, I was like, hey, I'm done with y'all. Where do I send my equipment? How do I make sure that I know y'all got it so y'all don't make me pay for it? And we got YouTube TV, and
nice.
And it's good. It's good. The only drawback that I've noticed with YouTube TV is because it's not hardwired, like you're not plugged into the wall, so it's all streaming. So you use a lot of data. If you got 2-3 TVs going and multiple kids are watching movies and using computer and all this sort of stuff, you use a lot of data. So what AT&T did to make up for the lost revenue, people going to YouTube TV, they started charging, get this, let's see, $10 for every 50 gigabytes you go over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you get like 1 gig, but then you get 50 for every 50 megabytes you go over. It's another $10. So we were using like 1,500, megabytes a month, which was 500 over. So they were getting like another $100 out of us. So we had to curtail things. So we no longer.
So you hadn't paid your bill right there.
Well, yeah.
Went dark on me.
Yeah, went dark. Yeah, we ended up just kind of, now instead of just leaving the TV on, like if we're not watching it, we turn it off. So
yeah. So obviously, the whole reason this whole thing came up is my iPhone 6S kind of went kaput. They gave me a new SIM card to test it out because it was coming up no valid SIM card or whatever. And so they gave me a new SIM card. I tried it on my old phone. It didn't work. And then they sent me a new iPhone 6S. I know you want to know why I didn't upgrade. Well, it was free. It was free. I mean, come on. You never know.
Listen, here's what's going to happen. In 3 months, you're going to run into the same problem.
That's okay.
I'm just telling you. I've been down that road. And
sending them to me.
I stuck with my iPhone 7 for like 4 or 5 years. Yeah. 4 years probably before I finally upgraded to an XR back in December. Because I'd go to take a picture and be like, no memory. I was like, great. So with my kids having have one Apple ID and then having all their music, and they take videos of everything they do. So I was backing everything up. We get off on a little tangent to start tonight's episode, but Brees
always never fails, right?
It's right. His new phone today. So
which is not working properly, by the way.
Okay.
I know.
The over-under on the 3 months is I'll take the under.
Well, it's going to be tomorrow. I'm going to, going to the Verizon store, they come out to me in mask and gloves.
Oh yeah.
And that which is fine. And but yeah, the iMessages are not working. My phone does not even recognize my number. So if I have to send an iMessage, I have to send it through my email account. So long story short, another track to the Verizon store tomorrow.
You just ponied up, man.
I know.
Get the iPhone for life plan. That's what you need. You need to switch to Sprint's what you need to do.
Well, I will say this. They asked me if I wanted the iPhone 11. Is that the newest and greatest one?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I said, okay, how much is it? $975.
That's why you lease it, man.
Okay. Well, either that or I don't need it. I'll take free.
Yeah.
You know me, dude. I'm cheap, right?
FOC. Says, give me a free phone, says the gas man. Did you deduct the $1.50 it took you to drive to the store?
I charge my daughter $1 just to ride with me today to drop off something.
That does not surprise me. So the daughter went on a road trip. So speaking of road trips in the sports arena, not a whole lot going on, as we know, in the world of sports. And this show is about sports, drive through sports. So we're having to improvise a little bit. But as far as road trips go, stadium road trips, I think, is definitely something that I would like to do at some point when everything opens back up. And so you and I were talking off air about favorite stadiums we've been to and ones that we would like to go to. So I'll let you kick it off and just let our audience know what's your favorite stadium that you've been to for a sporting event, and what's one that you have not been to that you would like to go to.
Well, obviously, if I say the Georgia Dome, are you going to be? No, I'm just kidding.
It is no more. Although Mercedes-Benz Stadium is pretty impressive.
Pretty cool. Yeah, that's right.
I'll kind of toot my own horn here. I have not seen a game there, but I have broadcasted a game there.
Big time.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Big time. Resume dropping. I like it.
Yeah, dropping.
Obviously having my first college football experience at Neyland Stadium, walking in is an incredible sight to behold.
Were you sitting? Were you up here? Where you're just staring straight down into the abyss, or did you have good seats?
That was the I don't know if you know this or not, or remembered that Michael Jackson actually played at Neyland Stadium.
The Victory Tour. And my mom went to that concert, and she was like, I felt like I was gonna fall forward. She was way up there. And I was like, "Yep, it's." Yeah, I've been to one game at Neyland. It was Tennessee Duke back when I was in college. I went up there to see some friends, and our seats were in the 300 section, and it was I feared for my life. I feared for my life. Great view from up there of like the river and stuff, but as far as watching the game, it's kind of hard.
Right.
Hard. But was that was your favorite favorite venue for sure?
I mean, I would think so. Just the awe-inspiring nostalgia of the whole thing. As far as, and this is all football. I'd like to go to Jerry's World just to see it.
Yeah.
And then college football, I would like to either go to Ann Arbor or Notre Dame.
Touchdown Jesus.
Touchdown Jesus. Right. So, those are my, now NBA, I've been to a Grizzlies game in what was the Pyramid.
Yeah. I've been
now is a Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah.
The FedEx Forum down in Memphis is actually a tremendous venue. There's no bad seat there. But I've been to a Washington Wizards game up in D.C., and that was a pretty good atmosphere up there.
Okay.
Now the basketball venue I would like to go to visit is probably the Staples Center in L.A. Just because of the rich history of the Lakers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But obviously, the Celtics as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So
All right. Well, I'm gonna
I mean,
bring in a completely different dynamic and different sport to the table here, and
that's why I leave baseball to you.
I know. My favorite my favorite venue, and this is going to really surprise you because it's not one of these cathedrals or um, like Jerry World or something like. It's not like that. It was all about the atmosphere, and I really like AT&T Park in Chattanooga where the Lookouts play.
Okay.
We went to a game there, and I think it was like $7 or something like that for each of us to go. And we took the whole family down there, and it was kind of our nightcap of doing all the Chattanooga tourist stuff. And then we ended up going to the game. We walked to the game from our hotel, and I think we sat on like the third row for like $7. And just where it's located, like if a right-handed batter hooks one foul, it's up on Highway 27. I mean, they've got the netting and everything, but
Yeah.
the whole atmosphere is really cool. That of all the ones I've been to Georgia Dome, and
Yeah.
I have been to Rupp Arena. That was one that it was a special trip, and I'd say probably Rupp and the baseball because I love baseball, and of course I love Kentucky basketball. So I'd have to say if I rethink it, probably Rupp Arena jumps the Double A baseball stadium, even though it's really nice and I really had a good time. For me, having only been to Rupp once, me and my dad went in 2016 when they had Fox and Bam and Monk and all those guys, and
Right.
we had we were like second row. Rex Chapman was down there with us. Larry Conley was down there. It was just a great experience. So Rupp for me was my favorite, probably by far, stadium or arena experience. And the place that I would like to go the most is Dodger Stadium. I got to get out to California. I gotta see a game at Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium. I've seen them play so many times in Atlanta. And looks like I'm not going to get to see them play in Atlanta this year because they were supposed to come June 12th, 13th, 14th, and I had tickets for all three games, and looks like that's not gonna come to pass. So maybe one day I'll get out there. Maybe it'll be 2021, 2022. But I'd love to go out there and see a ball game. Just just because I love the Dodgers, not all the history that's out there. In fact, yesterday was Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball. Of course, no games were played, but still remember his contribution to baseball, to Major League Baseball. But yeah, so Rupp Arena, my favorite by far. I think close second is AT&T Stadium, and then definitely want to make it out to Dodger Stadium for sure at some point before I call it quits here. But talking about baseball, I happen to think about one of my buddies who I grew up playing baseball with. First 2 years that I played, Dax Myhan. I talked to you about him. He's got his own podcast in Western Kentucky, and we played together the first 2 years we played when I was 6 and 7. And see, back then it was kid pitch. There was no like dad pitch. First second year. I mean, nowadays it's t-ball and then it's coach pitch or whatever. Well, we had 6 and 7-year-old kids out there throwing it, and I was on the receiving end of one of those. That's a story for another time. But this is we started out when I was 6, just learning how to play the game, and I think we were about 500. I think we were like 7 and 8 or something like that. I only played 15 games, not like now when these kids are playing 50 and 60 games in the summer. And the second year, we went undefeated, and we played all-star teams, and we ended up playing 18 games, won all 18, and so I'd kind of figured out, everybody's about my level. I'm pretty good. And everybody works at it like I do. And if I'm 7 or 8 years old, you can throw a baseball, catch a baseball. If you're playing baseball, you at least can do that. So I moved to Nashville, and I missed the sign up for the local Civitan, Brentwood Civitan, because I didn't get here till March. So the only league that was open that still had signups was in Antioch. You probably don't even know this story about me.
I do not.
But so it was over there by is it Mill Creek or
yeah,
the one that always flooded. There's still floods probably. And
I got to interrupt you. There's actually there's actually a elementary and middle school now called Mill Creek down in
Okay, so it's right over there. And from where we were living, I mean, I was living with my grandparents at the time. From Brentwood, Franklin, that's a trek, man. That's a solid 45 minutes to get over there. So I had practice once a week, and then we'd have 2 games a week, and we'd go over there and play. So I get on this team, and Paul, I kid you not, like, before the game, you get up, and our practices were a complete joke because nobody could field a ground ball. You had one kid. I could catch a ball with regularity, and there was one other kid that could catch a ball with regularity. He was our first baseman by default because he could catch, and I was the other guy that could actually field his position. Everybody else, it was like Bad News Bears. Long story short, that season as an 8-year-old in Antioch, we go 2-13. 2-13. One of the games, we got the W because the other team didn't show up. We drove all the way over there, and the other team doesn't show up, so we got a forfeit W.
Yeah.
Okay, so we only actually beat one team. So we were 2-13, and that kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And I was like, well, I'm definitely not playing here next year. I've got to get into Brentwood. So next year comes along, sign up for Brentwood Civitan. Steven Drizzy is my coach. Mr. Kernut was our Monty Kernut. I don't know if you know him. He was on my team, or his dad was our coach also. And so we go out the first day, and so Coach and Drizzy gathers us all around, and he's like, okay, and you got to think about where I'm coming from. The team I came from was horrible. I mean, you get those kids out there and line them up to warm up, and all you're doing is chasing balls because nobody can catch the ball.
Yeah.
And so Coach and Drizzy goes, okay, all right, can anybody catch? And I'm like, oh, brother, here we go again. Another year like this. I don't know if I can do this. So I'm like, well, golly, I was like, I can catch. And he goes, okay, go put the equipment on. And I said, Coach, I got my glove. He goes, I know. You're going to need a mask and chest protector and shin guards. They're in the bag. And it was some old, baseball bag. You just, like, old, dusty baseball bag that you right? And so we were going to have an inter squad, and so my parents were working. So my grandfather dropped me off. So my parents come to catch the end of the inter squad practice or whatever. So, I mean, my dad's seen me play. He knows I can play. So he gets there, and, he's looking around. He doesn't see me. So I'm not on the bench. He's like, well, where is he? So the inning ends, and everybody's coming off the field, and here I come, man, and I pull all that gear off my head, and he's like, Adam, what are you doing? He goes, I said, I guess I'm catching. And just like that, man, I caught for the next 4 or so years.
Wow.
And ended up really liking it and doing pretty well. Little League made a couple of Little League All-Star teams and stuff.
Yeah.
It was helpful for me that I had the fastest kid in the league. I was on my team, so he was always trying to steal against me in practice. So it made me better because nobody could place on me. Because if I could throw, and you remember this kid, probably RC Ford.
Oh yeah.
If I could throw out RC Ford, then nobody was stealing on me. So he would constantly challenge me in practice, which was great. And of course, Dave and Drizzy played for us, and at age 10, David and Drizzy had a slider that would break 12 to 14 inches, and nobody could hit it. I mean, it was just crazy. And I think he hit 15 or 16 home runs that year as a 10-year-old. I'm talking bombs into the woods, into the creek. Yeah, we had a really good squad that year, but it was a lot of fun. And I'll never forget coaching Drizzy. Can anybody catch? And I was like, here we go. So I volunteered and probably lost a few pounds that season in the process, just sweating to death.
That's funny.
But yeah, it was. I just kind of lucked into it. It wasn't meant to be. I thought I was going to be an infielder or something. Turns out I wasn't. I was an infielder, just behind the plate. But anyway, yeah, it's crazy. Well, there's one more thing that we wanted to get to tonight, and since we're talking about, last night we were talking about, quarantine meals and stuff like that. Unless you got a hobby or something, that you got a workshop at your house or something, you are like struggling to kill time here with this stay-at-home shelter-in-place deal. So we thought we would offer our listeners some tips on some good shows to binge watch over this little break while you're stuck inside. At night, can't go anywhere, that sort of thing. So I'm going to let you jump off on that topic, and then I'll give everybody a couple that I'm into and have been into and watched.
Well, if you're behind on the times, Tiger King is definitely the must see, right?
Oh, and yeah, Tiger King's that's a given.
Once I completed that, I went into All American, which is about a high school football player. Kind of a true story with some factual or information involved, but then they throw in some
cinematic liberties.
Yeah, there you go. Correct way to put it. But I've been locked in on Money Heist for the last 2.5 days. I thought it was just a one-season gig. Then it became a fourth, or when I say a season, how would you describe it?
I would say it's different parts. So there's
4 parts.
And what's interesting about it, because I've seen all of it, so I'm not going to give anything away. Yeah. I've seen all 4 parts, and the first couple episodes, because it's made in Spain, and it's the words are dubbed in English.
Yeah,
so it's a little off. So, but I'm telling you, if you can get past that, and it takes a couple episodes to get past that, if you can get past that, it is well worth the watch. It's intriguing. It's well thought out. And I honestly thought it was a movie when I first started. I thought it was a movie, like a 2 hours, regular length. And then when I realized that it was not, I was like you. You said the other day, it's like the last 4 or 5 minutes of every episode, something major happens, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you just sit there and you just let it go. Next episode, and you just let it go. And then all of a sudden, 5 hours later, you're half asleep, or you are asleep. I mean, I was asleep watching it, just because it just goes and plays and plays and plays. Right. And I had to go back, but yeah, I totally agree with that. Money Heist is a definite must see for sure.
Now, if there's and now those were all from Netflix. Now, if there's a show or something that you felt like you needed to rewatch, I'm going with Eastbound and Down as a solid must-watch again and again and again.
Yeah, I would say if I had a must-watch again, it would be on Hulu, and it is on Hulu, and it's an FX series called Justified. Have you ever seen Justified?
No, I've not.
Yeah, it's got Timothy Olyphant is the main character. He's a U.S. Marshal who kind of gets sent back to his hometown in Kentucky, working out of the Lexington Bureau of the Marshal's Office. And he gets kind of roped into, like, there's all kinds of criminal elements in his hometown. And it's about 5 or 6 seasons. And, man, it's really, really good. But, again, I think I've watched it through twice just because I love his character. His character is so good in that. And I'll tell you another one that I've started that is that I had up to this point. They just released a new season, and it's on Amazon Prime if you have Prime. It's called Bosch. They just released season 6 of Bosch, and let me tell you, it is awesome. Titus Welliver is the main character. I don't know if you know who he is, but all the previous seasons are great. He's an LA homicide detective, kind of no nonsense guy, hardcore. Just really meticulous, and it's worth checking out. So if you haven't seen Bosch, you need to go on Prime and check it out. It's definitely worth it. But I totally agree with you with Money Heist, and I've seen all the All American episodes. They're good, because I'm a sucker for all those like half sports shows, drama with a little bit of sports in it,
Right.
But yeah, any others that tickle your fancy that you've gotten into, or
man, right now I don't know what I'm going to turn to. I got 2 more episodes of Money Heist. I don't know what I'm going to turn to next. Obviously my genre is comedy, and when you go to the search and you type in Will Ferrell, that's obviously where I direct my focus on. So I don't know what I'm going to hit next, but I'll have to do some searching. But based on your recommendations,
I would check out Bosch, and I actually did rewatch Semi Pro the other day. It was on, and I watched it in your honor with you and your Flint.
Thank you, Jackie Moon.
Jersey. Yeah, Jackie Moon, baby.
So I would say that and I may throw some Ballers HBO action.
Yeah, I finished all those 5 seasons of that. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's kind of sad, man. When you get to that last episode, you're like, dang, what now?
What? Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's like you got to find something else, man. Find something else to watch and binge. But
and obviously, as we're gonna wrap this up, Sunday night, the 10-part documentary series on the Jordan. It's the last season of the Bulls, right?
It's called The Last Chance.
Last Chance, right?
Yeah, and it's a 10-part series. Now, are they releasing all the episodes at once?
That is a great question.
I don't know. And is it only on ESPN Plus?
The ESPN Plus is the non-censored, the rated R version per se.
Oh, okay.
ESPN2 will be the family version.
I got you.
So
I got you. Okay. Yeah, that's something Sunday night, definitely. And what's funny about that is they actually are releasing it 2 months early. It wasn't going to be released until June 19th. Right. But with this quarantine, they're like, we need to go ahead and release it now. And here's the thing. Those episodes, it doesn't matter which episode it'll be, they will get higher ratings than any NBA game that was played this season.
Yeah.
Any NBA game. I mean, guaranteed. Not even
100%.
Close. It won't even be close. So, encourage everybody to tune into The Last Chance on either ESPN2 or ESPN Plus if you have that. Also, encourage everybody to keep listening to Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, and Spotify. And you can also listen to it on Spreaker, I do believe. But those platforms are available, and also the video of our episodes is available on our YouTube channel, Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul, and that'll be available shortly after we dismiss here. So, Paul,
hey, quick shout out to the WNBA. The draft is happening. 2 Oregon Lady Ducks would go 1-2, and hey, you WNBA fans out there, man, got to get fired up. Season's around the corner.
We hope. They hope. Yeah. So congratulating Paul on his iPhone 6S. And we'll see if it lasts through the weekend.
Don't think so.
I've got the over-under on the under for sure. But for Paul Brees, this is Adam Freeman. You've been listening to Drive Through Sports with Adam and Paul. We'll catch you on the flip side.